Changing.
Yeah,
Is it
the
changing?
mic's on.
No?
No.
Is it changing? I don't have my, could you turn your mics on, please?
I sat in my regular seat, so I turned that around. I remember I sat here the last time you and I had
Share this, eh?
together.
All right, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. It's 1:01. You have in front of you the agenda for today's meeting. I would like to know if you'd like to add anything to the agenda. If not, then I move for the adoption. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved. Review and approve the minutes. We all received those via email. If you had any questions about them, please bring them up now. Otherwise, I'll move for the approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes approved. Public comment? Not yet. All right. Old business. Coordination with the recreation director, that's James. How you doing?
Good.
So have you got anything to report to us?
Yes, I met with MSU Extension, Roxanne, and she's looking to do a cooking class for our seniors.
Oh,
And we're looking at Wednesdays from 10 to 11, starting April 9th. Also, I met with Christine from Tri-County Office on Aging, and we're looking to start a Matter of Balance class. And we're gonna meet again.
A what?
matter of balance.
Matter of Balance.
Oh, matter of balance?
Yeah,
You know, 1 foot.
Balance.
Balance.
Oh,
When was that?
like.
I've never
try-
heard that phrase.
Try not to fall down.
yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
We had our initial meeting, I think it was 2 weeks ago, so we're going to meet again, and we're looking to start that in August or September. And after that, we're looking to, same Tri-County Office on Aging, do a Walking with Ease program. And once that's finished, a diabetes and chronic pain program, prevention program, or how to deal with it. So it's kinda gonna go in phases, but we're looking to, like I said, start that in August or September, and then run that throughout the end of the year. Also, I met with.
Have you talked about a time or a day that those might be on?
No, we have not, I'm looking at probably Monday or Wednesday. So it would come after the cooking class, so everything's kinda going in phasing with 6 to 8 week programs, and then having something follow right after that.
A walking program, am I on or not on?
Is your mic on?
No, it's not. Click it. There you go.
A walking program might be good for the summer.
Yes,
Timing will be important on that one, yeah.
yes, and I am working with Under the Nets to possibly, and also, a church to possibly use their gym in the wintertime.
A gym? What do you need a gym for?
If it's a
Walk
walking
around.
club in the winter.
Oh,
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, well, they got a brand new gym
Okay.
right here on the corner, Park Lake and Lakeland, or Park Lake and Webster. The non-denomination church there. on the
Huh?
corner. They have a brand new gym right behind it.
oh, yeah, they do, yeah.
I've never seen anybody use it either.
Yeah, Nancy? Where
All right, I want to know more about that, but I also wanted to say that we used to walk at the high school on the track.
Yeah, I have that down too, as far as on my 2025 program calendar, to reach out to school and see if we can use their track in the summer. But that wouldn't just be for seniors. I would like to see families out there as well, and invite the seniors as well. So
Oh,
a
yeah.
community walk.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so that is on my agenda, to reach out to the school and get that set for summer if I can.
That's a nice place to walk.
It
Nice
is
and-
nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to set goals and,
And I
Yeah,
think
'cause all
walking
the
as a community
marks-
too kinda, motivates you to get out there and you can socialize and get to know your neighbors and that kinda stuff, so.
teach people not to
Okay.
fear seniors.
Where's this other one at?
The church.
What'd you say?
At the church, they have a
They
place to
have,
walk?
yeah, well, no, they have a gymnasium there.
Oh, okay, all
And
right.
I didn't know if they would, allow the senior services group to go over there or not, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be close.
That's what I mean, that would be very advantageous to be close like that.
So did you talk to the library or the National Honor Society about technology for the seniors?
I reached out to, because when I met with Christine, I brought that up to her, and she gave me a name of Kayla Nichols, and I emailed her, so I'm waiting to hear back.
Who is she?
She works for the Tri-County Office of Aging.
Uh-huh. All right.
But if that doesn't pan out, then I can reach out to the Honor Society too.
Or the library, the Bath Library.
I did talk with the Bath Library, and they're more one-on-one because there's so many different types of cell phones. So to do a complete class would be a little difficult. But if someone is in need, we can recommend them to do some one-on-one training with.
We're all in need
Yeah, I'd like
when it comes to
one-on-one.
technology. What'd you say?
I'd like one-on-one.
Actually, I meet with Joanna at the assistant director at the library at 2:00 right after this meeting. So that's on my list to talk with her about as well.
And then did you find out about the fire department and the smoke detectors and whether or not they could
I
come
didn't.
into the library, come into the senior center?
I have not talked to them about that in depth.
All right. Any questions for James? Thank you so much.
We
Progress.
really enjoyed the fellow that sang the other day.
Can you speak up, Jean, please?
Yeah, we really enjoyed the fellow that came and sang the other day at
Yeah.
the senior. He was so good.
Yes, and now I let him know I'll be reaching back out to him too in the near future to set something up as
That
well.
was really nice.
I'm also looking I know they did an antique buy and sell show in the past, so
Oh, yes.
I have the names and contact information for those individuals. So I reached out to them 2 days ago, waiting to hear back. If I don't hear back by email, I'll make that phone call and looking to set that up and possibly this summer. As well as Michigan Department of State reached out to me on doing an aging driver safety presentation. So I'm looking to set that up in March. We've been in contact, I just haven't gave them an official date yet, but that will be coming in the near future.
Is that one of the classes that lets you have lower car insurance?
It's more about, safety when you get,
Okay.
when you have.
Oh, more safety then?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
all right,
safety.
thank you.
There is an AARP class that does allow you to lower your insurance if you take that class.
Really?
I think so.
I've heard it somewhere, I don't
I
remember
think
where.
so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so next thing I want to talk about is the parking feasibility study. You have in front of you, if you picked it up, a 2024 lunch analysis that was done by the Planning Commission. Jason did this for them, and it looks at the total. He was only able to get from the township those menus that have the numbers on them. We're all familiar with those. And he was not able to get the township to give, to give him the menus for November and December. So this data does not include November and December. So it's 10 months of data. And it looks at how many meals were in-house, how many meals were to go, how many unique meals. We were talking about that at lunch today. There were 76 unique meals in that 10 months. It looks at the most popular meals and the least popular meals. It's interesting, today we had fish
It was
on here.
full.
Beg your
It
pardon?
was full.
I'm sorry?
The room was full.
The room was full. Well, there were a few empty seats, but not many. It was pretty good. This whitefish was actually brought in by Shirley's son-in-law, Jeff Garrity. He
Oh.
brought it from, he buys it up at an Indian reservation and brings it down. It's frozen, brings it down, and he sells it through several of the local grocery stores, the smaller ones. And he brought a box in for the senior center. So that's what that crispy whitefish was. And then, looking at the meals per day, the average 83, and then the minimum was 46, and the maximum was 152, that was at Thanksgiving. So a typical busy day, of course, is 100 meals, and a typical very busy day is 118 meals. And then,
What does this tell them, Judy?
I can't hear you, Jean, I'm sorry.
What does this tell them?
Well, we're looking, it's part of the parking feasibility study to see how busy the senior center is. They're asking, they're asking through the analysis, is it true that they need more parking? And so they're looking at the data that's available to them. They also will do a drone flyover on our busiest days to see on those busy days where people are parking. And they will continue discussing this. There is a man on the planning commission, his name is Mark, and he has done in his life's work, he's done restaurant supply and dealt with restaurants at all different levels, and he's very familiar with what happens at the senior center, but he's never been to the senior center, so I've invited him to come in. He's coming in next week on Monday to have lunch with us. So I've had the chair in for lunch of the planning commission, this guy who's gonna assist with the parking feasibility study, and Jason, they've all been in, and Ray has been in. So I'm trying to get people from the planning commission to come in and eat with us, so they understand what the experience is like, and they can speak with a little more knowledge than people who haven't been into the senior center. Yes?
Question, as far as parking, per what I see, we have police officers parking in our parking area. Do they not have enough parking spaces over there for them, for the police officers? Maybe even maintenance, I don't know where they park exactly, but.
And so you're saying that the police officers, when you come in the morning, or when you come on Thursdays, Tuesdays and Thursdays, they're parking in what we would consider the senior center parking, across from the front door and next to the garage?
Yes,
Are you
The
talking
lean-to?
personal cars?
they're personal
They're
vehicles.
personal vehicles, is
Right.
what she's talking about.
So 5 or 6 of them?
I don't know how many. I really don't know how many. I'm sure there's at least 3. And I don't know if they're just totally police officers or if they're from the township maintenance area. I just know that when I've come in on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, when I do, which I don't normally come that early, but I bring my husband down to play hand and foot. And there's parking places taken. It's like, whoa. You get down here at 9:30 or so and there's already parking places taken, and they've been sitting there a while.
The other area, Judy, is to the east of the building against the maintenance. Those are all maintenance trucks that belong to the employees of the township. And I'm wondering why they can't park in the main township parking lot and save those spots for the seniors, because there are 6 or 7 of them there. And they're always full of the maintenance trucks, not the employees' trucks.
Personal vehicles.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to bring these issues up. Are there any other issues you'd like me to raise?
Yeah, heat.
Isn't on the agenda. Let's see, where can I put that?
New business?
Under new business, I guess.
Yep.
All right, so, any questions about the work with the planning commission? Please, if you're in the senior center on the 24th, come and meet Mark. We're having sloppy joes that day. I sent them all the menu so they could choose what day I would be there and what they'd like to eat. He chose sloppy joes, so. All right, grant subcommittee report, Jean.
I have no report. We haven't met again.
I can't hear you.
We did meet and found out that the parking feasibility study was something that we did not know about. And so it really kind of discouraged us a little bit. And so, because we found out that that has to happen first.
Well, it does have to happen, but that doesn't mean the research can't be done in the meantime to what might be available. Do you know, did you were able to find out how much the Capital Region Community Foundation
No.
grant was?
No, I haven't done that. The other question, though, I have another question is, we know what it would cost, or approximately what it would cost to enclose that porch area and make it a four-season room, to enclose that. My question is, what if we ask the township, because I think they know about how much it would cost to expand the kitchen so that, for their walk-in freezer and walk-in refrigerator that they need. What if we combine those two and worked with the township, finding a grant for the entire cost, not just this one and not just this one, but put them together. Put the kitchen, put the walk-in freezer and walk-in refrigerator and expanding out that way a little bit from the kitchen. Put that in with ours and make it one package and try and find a grant that may cover both.
Well, James, can you find out what the status is for, on the kitchen upgrade from the township?
I think they have a figure of what that would cost, or I think they have an estimate on what it would cost
For the equipment or the building?
to go out, both,
No, you think they have an estimate for what? The equipment or the building?
both.
For the equipment and the building? You think they have an estimate?
I don't know, but I thought they did.
No, I thought it was only to add the exterior walk-ins for a freezer and a refrigerator.
That's what I'm
To the
talking
exterior
about.
of the house, or the
That's what
house,
I'm
the
talking
building.
about.
We knew what you meant.
That's what you're talking about? I thought you were,
But they have to go out from the kitchen to do that, to put the walk-in freezer and walk-in refrigerator in there. They have to have a room to put it in.
I didn't think they had to have a room. I thought it was basically a structure to support the walk-in freezer or the walk-in
Maybe that's it, I don't
refrigerator.
know.
Yeah, I think it's just, I think you've got this standalone cold unit.
Storage.
Yeah, and you just have to support it so that, and cut a hole in the wall
Right.
and just attach it and support it. I don't think it's like actually expanding, I wouldn't call it technically expanding the building. I would call it just facilitating that piece of equipment.
Put a mounting pad out there.
Yeah, a mounting pad, yeah, that's a
But
great.
that has to cost,
Yeah, well, the footprint on the inside of the kitchen space would be bigger because now that cold space is on the exterior of the building. But going back to our conversations about the money we raised, was that wasn't the intention of that money.
No.
And that was what Karen was saying
that's-
she wanted to do is,
but what I'm saying is, I'm wondering, and I know the township wants to use that money, and I know it's supposed to be used for the expansion of the senior center, which is what we're trying to do. But I'm wondering if we put both of them together, both the walk-in freezer and walk-in refrigerator, and the enclosure to enclose them, what that would cost, combine it with what it would cost to make this room, and try and get a grant to cover both.
and then we could use the money we raised as
As a-
our
we have to-
our
because we-
skin in the game.
Because we have to match. The
We have to
grants,
match?
a lot of the grants you have to match. And
Okay.
if we're going to do that, why not try and do both? Both. Because it is true that the kitchen needs this. It is true that we need the room. So why not try and get a grant to cover both? But we don't know a figure. And that's why I'm asking, and that's what Judy asked James, to try and find out if they have a figure for the equipment and the shed to put it in.
Don't we have the number for enclosing the deck? We don't have that
We
number?
have the number for the deck, but she's asking about cold storage.
No, I know she's asking about cold storage, but what I'm saying is, isn't it just math to add that number that we've got for the deck?
Yes.
To what they're saying they've got, and you're proposing, let's put those two numbers together
Correct.
and try to present that as an idea to the town and see if they're a little more receptive and see if we could research that possibility
And
as a
try-
grant.
And try and get a grant to cover both.
Right, so we just want to add those two numbers together.
So everybody.
Karen should have the number to add
Well,
to the
that's what I
number
was
we've
asking
gotten.
James, if he could get that number for us, so we would know what it would be.
Right.
Okay.
Because he is our representative from the administration.
He
That is his job.
Yes.
To liaison.
Hi, James, I'm Dana. I thought it would be more under the job of Ray instead of the recreational director.
Well, as a liaison, it doesn't have to be specific to recreation,
Okay,
does
see, I
it?
did not know that's what he was. I thought he was just here as the program director, but he's here for the liaison between us and the staff.
Yeah,
And staff, yes,
And
not the board, staff.
Staff, okay, I'm sorry, so.
And staff has the number, because
Okay,
Karen has the
all right.
number.
You
He's
guys are
staff.
correct.
Right. Yeah.
You're correct. I
He's
didn't know
staff.
he was doing both jobs, so, okay, sorry.
And
No, I'm-
if I might
clarification
add,
too.
about grants, usually it's about a 25% match. So if you used, what,
So if you needed $100,000, you'd have to have $25,000 as a match, local match.
minimum.
So we would have that.
We know that.
Well,
We have
But
40.
what I'm saying is, rather than just say, well, you do your thing and we're gonna do our thing, let's combine them. And because we need both.
Well, we do, but unfortunately, that is something that Karen has stated repeatedly, that we don't need more space.
Well, but-
has denied the fact that there are times when there's no room. She's denied that multiple
know.
times.
But she
So,
hasn't even done
But we're moving on from that.
Right there.
We're gonna move on from that.
yeah, but there are times when it is full, and she has said that's not happening. It's like, well, it is happening. The people that are there are seeing it. And it's not every day, no one is claiming that, but it's a frustrating, it seems to be almost a non-starter. So we do have to convince them of the fact that, like you said, we do need it. We need the extra footprint for the
We do
seniors
need-
themselves.
We do need it. We do
Yes,
need it.
absolutely.
And she's agreeing.
And they need what they want. So let's work together. That's what I'm saying. Let's work together and try and get both of them covered.
I got
So
no,
James, so I think we
good idea.
just need the information from James.
You know, one of the reasons that I say we, the board, asked for this information, this data, was because they really didn't know, you know, they didn't, and me personally, I would be interested in knowing how many, I'll call them outsiders, people that are not in the Bath community that come into the senior center, you know, on a regular basis. That would be interesting to know.
I'm sorry.
And this was initially because you had asked about a parking study. And they said, well, if, we gotta find out if you actually, you know, if there is indeed a need, a concrete need for extra parking spaces. So that's what they wanted to do with this, and then they extrapolate that information. So that's something I think is important too, yeah.
I think though, part of my concern, and we've talked about this before with a previous Parks and Rec person, is that what this doesn't say is how many people haven't come because I can't find a spot on Meatloaf Day anyway. Or they come and it's full and they drive away.
Yeah, I don't
Those types of things are not, and we did want to ask those questions.
I don't
like,
think you'd ever really know that because.
well, we can ask people that come. We
those
can
people may
say.
never come back, you know? If they came
Well-
once and didn't find a parking spot, they might never come back.
Well, that's true, but we could still ask the question of the seniors that attend. Because there are some that, like, say, I've got a friend, like, you know, and that was kind of part of what we wanted to say. Do you know of someone that had said this to you? So we had actually questions that we had come up with that unfortunately, because of the timing of everything and she left, they didn't get asked. We kind of wanted a questionnaire going around. But, so I'm just saying that it doesn't say, it's not all the variables.
Correct. There's more data needs to be extrapolated.
And
from the community.
they're gonna work on that. This is what Jason was working from, you know, his monthly menu with the numbers by it. They also wanna know, how many people arrive in each car. You know, could we, I think they're getting at, could we encourage carpooling? I mean, as an option, as opposed to more parking places. They also, as Ray was saying, are curious to know how many people who use the senior center live in Bath Township.
If they don't live in Bath Township, are we able to, not have as many parking places? We can't do that. We have to allow for all those people that arrive.
Absolutely, that's my feeling, that we shouldn't say, if you live in Langsberg, you can't come.
Yeah.
You live in
They don't have a
Langsberg, you park
senior
over
center.
there.
Beg your
And
pardon,
our-
Jean?
They don't have a senior center, and people from surrounding counties come here because we have an excellent program. We have an excellent senior center, and that's what's making us grow. You know, it's like, we have an excellent senior center, and people,
The best in the region.
yeah, and people that are just north, or Langsberg, or just north, that come from DeWitt, I think the 60-40 percentage is probably correct. I think 40% are Bath Township people and 60% aren't.
We'll
And-
find,
Because I went around the card table, the people that play cards, no, 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 yes, yes, no, no, no. You know, it's like,
they have now taken the emergency contact book and put that on a spreadsheet, and they're gonna find out
good.
what that percentage is, Ray?
What I wanted to mention about the board, what we wanna know is
The trustees?
the trustees, the board of trustees, and why we turned that over to the planning commission to get concrete data, is because the Bath Township pays about, what was it, $160,000 a year
120, I thought it was.
to subsidize the senior center. And that's all well and good, because seniors do need a place, but that's taxpayer money. And we have an obligation to the taxpayers to see that their money is well spent, instead of actually literally subsidizing outside communities that don't have a senior center. And I'm not saying anything against not allowing seniors to come in. We have to allocate, we have to make sure that we know where that money's going and why it's going there.
There used to be a different cost for lunches for people that were Bath Township residents and people that weren't. And then when they raised it, they made us all the same. But there used to be a difference of $1.
Well, it's
It
5
seems
and
like
6.
that's the
It's
easy-
5 and 6 now. That's what I
Is it
just saw.
6?
It's 5, it's all the same as 5.
It's all 5.
Dana?
If you're a senior.
I'm just thinking that should be an
disagree. I
easy
saw something that-
survey for Linda to do when she takes money. Say, okay, Dana, are you in Bath Township or not? And she could put it right on her sheet, her lunch sheet, whether you're in the township or out. I mean, that would, to me, a very simple. I would volunteer, but I cannot make a promise I'm gonna be here.
They are going to ask Linda to do a survey when she collects money. One about, did you come by yourself? Did you drive alone? Did you come with others?
I
And
don't-
secondly,
I don't think a survey will work as well as
Is it just-
asking, okay, how many people are in your car? And
they're gonna ask Linda to do that when she collects the money.
is she gonna pass out a piece of paper? or-
No, they're gonna ask her to ask the question.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Nancy?
Almost all of our people are from Clinton County, correct? They would have to be, other than Shiawassee
Clinton
County.
County.
Well,
Or-
Langston
So-
is in Shiawassee County, so
Right.
that's really close.
It is, but the majority of our people are gonna be in the DeWitt area, Lansing,
St.
Bath,
John's,
St. John's.
Yeah.
Hazlet,
Um,
well, no.
In
Yeah.
that we're in the
Bath
extreme
Township.
southern portion of Clinton County, we have, Ingham and Shiawassee are both really close to us.
Nancy?
Are there not funds available, county funds, that we could receive for our township for,
That'd
I'm
be-
sure there's got to
Interesting
be.
question.
that'd be
From other
something good to-
townships.
Good to find out.
Yes, I agree. Do I need to do on that, check on that
Maybe
myself?
Dwight could help us with that one.
There's got to be funding from different,
It'd be lovely to
Areas.
have the county assist so that the town isn't
Yeah, I think
subsidizing
that
as
if they
much.
cost shared with us, it would be great, but we need that data, how many of our patrons are from outside Bath Township and inside Clinton County?
Then you
Cost share.
could go to the surrounding counties and say, this is what we're providing, would you,
Can you
You know.
cost share with us?
yeah, cost share?
So that sounds like we got a first step
Yeah.
to do for this portion of it.
Just to clarify, it is 5 and 6, 6 for non-residents.
6 for younger,
No.
No,
No.
6 for under 55.
6 for
Right.
younger, and
Non-residents, I
6
thought
for
it was.
younger, not, I didn't think it was for non-residents.
No, it isn't.
No, it's for
It's the age,
younger.
it's age-based.
Age,
Yeah.
age-based.
Not
It
where
is.
you live.
Yeah,
And it's been that way a long time, $1 more if you're younger, right?
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And/or it used to be non-resident,
Yeah,
so,
I think that's before my time, though.
yeah,
I've been-
right, right.
yeah.
We really got some people ticked off doing that at one time.
You know, Judy, one thing about carpooling, Americans are very, very, very independent, and I really don't think that, and this is just me personally, I'm not a board member, but that seems really overstepping if you try to demand people to carpool to, by the, you know, just to save parking spaces. I don't think that would even be a valid argument. That's just my opinion.
My opinion, I share that opinion myself. Cheryl, Sherry?
There's an easy place to park, it's a little bit further away, that way. And all we need is a little golf cart shuttle to bring people from an easy, they wouldn't have to do much, it's high ground, no grave sites. And just to have somebody for 2 hours drive a golf cart.
And we do have volunteers at the center who would be willing to do that. And I think that, I mean, part of the reason to do the feasibility study is to find out where that space is around the senior center, and then what it would cost to develop that space as additional parking. And if we have to throw in a golf cart, $1,500 to the equation, $300, I mean,
Because they can enter from there,
we have a golf cart, probably.
so they could park their vehicles over there
Times I've been there,
leave
many
hours.
times I've walked in,
Good
and I
point.
maybe didn't pay, I forgot. And there's not even a
Greeter.
server collecting money from everybody, because I can be stupid enough to walk in there and eat lunch and go, oh, geez, I forgot to pay. There's no greeter, and I think that's a problem to understand what's going on.
There were people who walked in today who didn't pay. They walk in, they go up to the line, they get their food, they sit down. Because there's no greeter, there's no one to tell them what to do. I'm not gonna go tackle them and say, you gotta see Linda back in the back corner.
And one of the things that I brought up at the board meeting, when I went there was a meatloaf meal, and there was a person at my table, and we ran out of food, they didn't have meatloaf for her, and she drove in there for the meal. But between 11:30 and 12, all the office people had their meals delivered, and picked up here.
They were delivered.
But I saw them picked up bags and bags and bags of food, and I brought it up to Karen, I said, not only was there no parking, I had to park illegally that day, and we ran out of food for people that drove in here to eat. And that.
And the staff ate before the
Yes,
patrons.
The staff here ate before the patrons, and that really irritated me.
Welcome to Dana's world. I've been complaining about that for years.
But I brought it up at the board meeting, and it's kind of like, oh, well,
Did they pay the 6 or the 5?
this was before we changed the price.
Who knows if they
Who
pay?
knows if they
No.
pay at all?
Who knows if they
Ray,
pay?
When you go, have you not noticed nobody's there to collect your money?
I have been there one time.
Oh, good.
And Judy paid.
Because most of the board members have not been there.
I'm not allowed to pay for you.
Most board members have not been once.
Yeah, I know.
I
And
talked one into coming once.
I would encourage them to do that, and also, but not when they have meatloaf with ketchup on the top, because I hate that.
Well,
But anyway,
but
Did you not read the minutes?
no, I didn't. What do you mean? You
It's
mean
in the
ones
minutes.
that just now came? From
2
the
days
last
ago,
meeting?
yeah.
Yeah, I did.
It talks about ketchup.
It talks about the fact that you strongly,
Yeah, but
I
was
use the
one
word
person.
strongly. And I did not go into a lot of, I could have gone in more detail and said that it was brought up that mustard and brown sugar were added, making it more like a barbecue, but he still could not be convinced. I did not put any of that in
I
there.
don't like mustard either, really bad.
I know, you said that. See, I was just trying to
Do you like
gloss
barbecue
over.
You were being,
So you
Accurate
call-
without,
You call ahead and say, don't put any ketchup on mine.
well, they do that when they bake it. I mean, you put the ketchup on before you
I
put
know,
it.
don't
but
have
call
to.
them and say, hey, I'm coming, I want 2 meatloafs without ketchup, please.
And they'd do that for you.
You know.
Nancy,
Well, they leave off the bacon for me,
right.
so yes, they would.
Wow. Can I have your bacon?
Sure.
No, you can't, because it's not on there.
We're looking
All
at
right,
it
we
now.
still have a lot of work to do on grants, and thank you, Jean, for that
Okay,
report.
So we will meet, but I really would like that figure from James when I'm looking for grants.
Do you understand what the question is?
How much is the cost for the walk-in freezer and refrigerator and the process to mount it or open it up?
And
Cold
then
storage.
Enclose the,
Enclose it, you know, to
You
see.
guys have a price for them closing the patio.
Correct.
we do.
We have an
So
idea,
my response, I just have to need to ask about the
kitchen.
walk-in refrigerator.
right.
Yes, sir.
All right, great. And you could let us know that when you find it out, and then she could take
Yeah.
that to her grant committee.
Yeah.
an email.
All right. Report on Tuesday and Thursday card playing. Nancy, can you talk a little bit about that? How's that going?
Well, it's going well. Our people love it.
And
If
you
it was
got
just warmer.
generally, talk about that right now,
Which part?
the warmer.
Oh, yeah. The temperature's set at 67 degrees all the time. Now, when the cooks are in there cooking and there's a slew of people in there, you don't notice that it's set at
raises.
67.
Body.
But when nobody's been in there, you come in there at noon and nobody's been in there, the stoves have not been running, the temperature's set at 67 degrees and it's cold.
That's too cold for seniors.
Yeah,
So-
and you
so
go over
there-
and you bump up the temperature, however, 3, 4, 5 degrees, whatever you're bumping it up. 72 is 5 degrees. It'll last for 45 minutes. So you have to keep going over there every 45 minutes and bumping
Oh,
the heat up.
it goes back down?
Yes, it does, it'll drop back down to
Automatically readjust.
67. That's ridiculous. And if I'm renting that facility, I want it warmer.
And you can't, as a renter, you can't make that temperature go up, can you?
Only if you go over, you can touch the
can you?
thermostat and
Oh,
bump
okay.
it up like 5
Can't
degrees.
you assign an underage person to go over there and hit that every 2 hours?
It needs to be set.
Every 45
between
minutes.
9
Oh, 45
o'clock
minutes, yeah.
and 2 o'clock.
It
Because-
probably does have a timer on it. I don't see why they
It
couldn't.
probably
if
has
it-
a program, that's
If
why it keeps
It
readjusting.
needs to be
Yes.
programmed between 9 and 2 to be set
On Monday,
warmer.
Wednesdays. and
Actually,
Fridays.
longer than that,
Actually, on
but
Tuesday, Thursday.
On Tuesdays and Thursdays particularly, the temperature needs to be warmer.
And
You're
they don't
talking
have
about 9 o'clock in the morning for
They don't-
hand and foot,
correct.
and the building hasn't yet warmed up.
Right,
They don't do
because
hand
9
and
o'clock
foot.
is when the building opens, and usually we're gone by 2 or 3 o'clock. So if it was time to be above 70 between 9 AM and 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock,
But you don't play hand and foot on Tuesday and Thursday, do you?
but you do. So the
She does so,
building-
but she
yeah.
doesn't need it until noon. Noon to 4.
we're talking about the Tuesday and Thursday euchre.
Noon to 4 on Tuesday and Thursday.
Tuesday
Can
and
they-
Thursday, yeah.
Can they pick the days?
Yeah, you
Can they,
can.
when you
Should
program?
be,
So
yeah.
like 11 to 4 would be nice to get it
Yes,
started.
yes, that'd be perfect.
And then
So anyway,
9 to 4 for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
But on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I know the temperature is still set at 67, but with all the BTUs that come from the bodies and the ovens, and I don't know that we need to talk about changing the temperature Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
I think we do. I was cold over there today.
in the first part of the morning, I'm sure, because it's 67 degrees. So when Linda comes in, she'll bump it up. She comes in at 9 o'clock and she will bump up the temperature. But it's still cold when you get there because it hasn't really risen up high enough yet. So, yes.
Can you ask James about temperature adjustment at the senior center?
Yeah,
Thank you. We're so glad you're here.
So anyway, on Tuesdays, we have a good crowd. Yesterday, we had 16 people, we had 4 tables. Our Tuesdays is not as large as Thursday. Thursday, we have bigger crowds, 6, 7 tables.
Wow.
It's
So
awesome.
this is with 16 and 28, let's say 16 is 4, that's 40, 54 people a week playing euchre, and it's not considered a senior center activity. What's wrong with that?
You tell me, I wish I knew.
I don't understand the logic. It's our second largest program besides lunch. And it's disrespected enough by the township to not consider it a senior center activity.
And not only that, but we have an employee over there running it who's rented the building to provide that activity, she's not being paid for it. She has to pay that deposit. Why? She's an employee. It should be classified as an activity, and she's running it for nothing.
And here on Tuesdays, we have line dancing at the community center, and it's an activity. A senior center activity.
It
You
is?
see it, you see it on the back of the menu as a program.
Okay.
And whoever
That's at
leads
the
that is probably
community building.
paid, correct?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
If seniors do any activity, it should be a senior activity.
I agree.
I mean,
We-
you know, if they're doing the jumping jacks,
I just don't understand
We
why
could
an
have an
employee
exercise class.
of the town can't sit,
Who's the
just
employee?
facilitate, just open, unlock the door, let people do their thing for 4 hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It wouldn't cost anything.
Exactly.
And Karen said, oh, the problem is the reason it costs too much because of staffing. People are working out of their homes, you know, and working for the town out of their homes. Why can't they work out of one of our buildings? You know, I just don't understand, for 4 hours, just to have those 2 days.
Well,
It doesn't
we have
make
a- we ha-
sense.
We have a staff person who is in the building on those Tuesdays and Thursdays to play cards.
But she's participating.
She's participating, yeah,
So
she's
she
there.
should not get paid.
No, she's
her
not being
wage.
paid.
I know she's not.
She's a
But she-
volunteer.
She's volunteering, but she shouldn't.
But she is an employee of the township. It's listed.
So what,
Every one of us that's paid at all is an employee. I have a key to the senior center.
so what is the point? What's the bottom line? What's the issue?
The issue is we shouldn't be paying a deposit and the people shouldn't have to pay $1 each. It should just be open for people to play cards for 4 hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Because
And it should be a senior center activity.
Yeah.
I brought that up, I brought that up at the meeting, and it was told that
I think we should keep bringing it up.
can I ask a silly question?
No questions are silly.
James, are you the facilitator of senior center activities? Or does this board do it, or does somebody over there do it? What? I don't know.
Yeah, I facilitate the activities. I'm not in charge of the Tuesday, Thursday, because that's a rental.
Okay.
But like, the performer that came in and MSU Extension and Tri-County Office on Aging, and I'm looking to get chair yoga, so that kind of stuff is what I put into place.
And why are the Tuesday, Thursday things not sanctioned activities?
you have more people for yoga than for
They
yoga?
closed it on Tuesdays and Thursdays this year. That was open last year.
The township trustees closed it on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
I thought it was closed when we had COVID. Okay.
it was closed when we had COVID, and then they opened it if it was rented, period.
Ah.
And that was our board decided that.
Yeah.
Not me.
But last year, it was open Monday through Friday, and they shortened the availability of the building and eliminated Tuesdays and Thursdays. And our point is, since people are there, there's an activity, since it wouldn't cost any more for staffing, because someone could simply work out of that location and doesn't have to facilitate the activity. Just sit over there and work. Do your job for whatever you're working on. Doesn't have to be the senior center. Karen said, well, when I asked about James or someone else in the office, she said, well, James doesn't work just for the senior center. I said, well, how is that even implied by my question? I'm just saying, let him do whatever he wants to do, but if he's not gonna be there, then tell someone else, today I need to have you pop over there and work out of that office. I mean, people are, since COVID, we should have a little more creativity to meet the needs of our town and our seniors. And they shouldn't have to be paying for the privilege of using the senior center for 4 hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
We are not open to pre-COVID levels, which is asinine, I'm sorry, there's no other word for it. And to have to make our seniors rent it. But it's not my decision, it's not your decision, or the board's decision, it's Karen's decision, I was told.
It was a budget decision.
Well, clearly,
She doesn't.
She says it's saving us money by not being open on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
but I don't agree with that, because
If
it
it
can
is
easily
open
be
on-
facilitated. It
If it's
doesn't make,
open on Tuesday and Thursday, then you have to have a staff person there,
that's what I'm saying.
and then you have to pay them.
They're already being paid. I'm talking about people who are already on the payroll, that they simply work out of that location. COVID sent people home. When I worked at LAFCU, we've got people sitting on their couches dispensing money at an ATM machine. They're working out of Langsberg, but they're working and sending money out of a machine located on the west side of Lansing.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
You know, and so I'm just saying, you know, technology since COVID has facilitated people working at different locations, working remotely. And there's no reason why someone who's on the payroll already being paid can't sit over there on Tuesdays and Thursdays for 4-hour shifts and just be open for 4 hours those 2 days. So reduced hours, but still facilitate people playing cards for free. It wouldn't cost a cent. That's my point. It doesn't cost a penny.
It's just totally disrespectful, in my opinion, the way they're doing it now.
And I wasn't part of the Tuesday, Thursday, that was before me, that's a board decision. But I will say that a lot of senior centers do charge for their activities, and they charge for membership to be part of their program. So for us, we're very fortunate, because we don't charge for a lot of things, and like even for the activities that I want to bring in, I want to make sure I bring them in that's free. So dollar's not horrible. Like I said, I wasn't part of that decision, but a lot of senior centers charge a lot more than we charge.
Good point.
Yep.
It is.
It is, and as far as paying $1 per person, that's one thing, but to have to
$100
rent the
deposits,
building?
do charge
They
for
have
playing
money
cards.
deposited.
$1 per person.
Yeah, because
they have money
turn it into
deposited.
the office.
You have to rent the building because then there's a liability issue. And the township, if you rent the building, then you're liable if anything happens.
So you mean I have to shovel off the walk and salt it so that our
No.
people don't fall?
No, that's a facilities thing.
Yeah.
But they don't do it because it's not open on Tuesday and Thursday.
They don't shovel
It's
it?
stupid,
It should
sorry.
be shoveled when there's
And you-
snow, it needs to be shoveled,
Yeah.
irrespective of, well, not on Saturday and Sunday, but,
Disrespectful.
huh?
You get to tell them that.
Would you share
Well,
that,
I'm
Ray?
I'm just learning all this stuff, you know, and
Right.
so I'm wondering, you know,
Well, welcome to our world, we wonder
We're
too.
butting heads all the time, Ray. This has gone on since I've been on the board.
well, and I just want you to understand, I'm gonna say it again, is that it's a budget thing, it is. The whole thing is revolves around that, and that's what Karen is watching at all times, you know, because everybody comes at her for money. And
Shoveling?
if she's, well, that's totally different.
You
I'm
know-
talking about the line item on the budget. You know, it doesn't get smaller, it gets bigger, and that money's gotta come from somewhere. So that,
But my point is it's not bigger because they're already being paid.
well, that's allocation of employees, that's, you know.
Nancy?
Again, that's Karen's job.
The day that I'm thinking of, as far as not being shoveled, was like last Thursday. It wasn't shoveled. And then we had snow the day before, so it was a worse day. In general, I think they probably do shovel that area. I hope they do. But last Thursday's the day that I really noticed, it's like, geez, a person could slip and fall here.
Well, when the DPW people come in, they should be checking all of these buildings to make sure that they're
agree.
shoveled, irrespective of what, as long as it's a work day. You know, they should be checking these buildings and making sure that they're salted and shoveled, or shoveled and salted. I like
I
to shovel
agree.
before I sew.
Yeah.
Thank you,
that's-
thank you for your discussion. Very good discussion. Next item on the agenda is filling 2 vacancies we have on the board. If you know of anyone who lives in Bath Township who'd like to serve, let me know, and I'd be happy to discuss with them what we do and maybe give them a little orientation and push them to fill out the application. We do have 2 vacancies. So next on the agenda is a report to the Township Board. The Township Board wants regular presentations from committees and commissions. We have not been invited yet. We can ask to go before them. We've done that before. But I was wondering if maybe what we ought to do is update our strategic plan and have that be an opportunity for us to make a presentation to them. This strategic plan we used from 2021 to 2024, although it says 2023. In 2024, we went before the board and asked them to give us direction for what it is they would like us to be engaged with for them in the coming year. We never got a response, still haven't gotten a response. So then we had Ryan come in twice to talk to us, still didn't get a response, still have no response. So perhaps what we should do is update this plan and make a presentation to them and do it for their service, their 2025 to 2029, right? 4 years. They started in 2025 and they'll go to 2029. So, one, I'd like to know if anyone would be willing to work on this a little bit with me. We could bring it back to the next meeting. And secondly, just quickly, I would go over the goals and see if we still agree with the goals. Does everyone have a copy? Marie, do you have one? I don't know if there was one. Here, I'll give you an extra copy right here. Thank you. All right, so the first goal was to encourage the development of comprehensive programs to serve Bath Township seniors. Would you still agree that should be one of our goals?
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
but do we want to take out the word encourage? It's our goal to develop. So we can encourage all we want, but a goal is not encouraging.
Well, the reason I think it says to encourage development is if you see who's responsible for that, it's the trustees. So this is our strategic plan, right?
Yep.
And so our responsibility is to encourage the trustees to develop comprehensive programs.
Yep, okay, you're
And
right.
services for the township seniors. Marie?
Well, Jeff,
I love you guys, you do such a great job. Get my blood going. Development, encourage, when you use those two terms, from where I sit, you develop. You don't encourage. Your encouragement should come from your board to encourage. It's the reverse of what you're saying. They should encourage. They should encourage, not you. You develop. This is what you do.
Well, we're not sure what we do, because we haven't been told.
Right.
So,
I get that. I
Okay.
understand that. But
Okay, so wordsmithing, we'll mark that, we'll look at that wordsmithing. Okay, so the objectives under that are to have a full-time program director and service manager. I think that we have a rec director who's in charge of programs and activities, so that this would have to be focused on a service manager.
can we change the word at and say for the senior center instead of at the senior center?
Sure.
I mean,
Okay, wordsmithing, I just want to quickly go over these.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And then I want a couple of people who sit down with me and we'll do the wordsmithing.
Okay,
The second objective was work to develop resources through increasing partnerships and expanding collaboration. We've actually done that, and we put that all on, spreadsheet for the senior center. And then third, utilize staff training, which would result in program expansion, increase collaboration, and expand networking, greater access to resources. And the fourth objective was to focus on meeting seniors' needs for basic medical equipment. The fifth objective was to develop a volunteer program, which would include recruiting strategies, background checks, training, and orientation. Okay, so the second goal was to increase the number of participants at the senior center, which we've done so well that we can't even all sit in there anymore.
Judy, I don't have goal number 2 and 3. Or are they on the back?
yeah,
Oh, there we go.
Goal number 3 is to continue to expand services to Bath Township low-income seniors. Goal number 4 is to get input from our seniors, on current and future services and program needs. And goal 5, expand the senior center. So those were the goals for our strategic plan for the last 4 years. So is there anyone who would be willing to work with me on this in the next month, so we could bring it back to the whole group?
I can if you don't do it during the day.
All right? Sherry, you want to help us? All right? Okay, great. I'll bring that together. Dana, and what time is that after? You say, what time do you get off?
Some days I don't work at all, but some, after 5,
After 5?
yeah.
All right, good. So, thank you. Foster Woods. We went to Foster Woods. We talked about that, James. it's an adult activity center. And we were hoping maybe to share the information about the facility with the people who take our lunches away, because it is a very engaging and active and involved activity center. They have programs and activities from 10 o'clock, well, they start with breakfast at 9 or 9:30. And then they have programs throughout the day until 4. They serve breakfast, lunch, and a late afternoon snack. They have 3 staff people, 1 staff person for every 3 participants in the program. And they're a very engaged activity center. It costs $20 an hour to use to participate in this activity center. They also have transportation, like if you wanted a ride or needed a ride. Every day, they'll come and have a service come and pick you up and bring you to the activity site.
Which is included in that $20.
Yes, it's also, that is included, and the food is included. And there is a program at the Tri-County Office on Aging called Project Choices, and if you are eligible for Project Choices, you get a waiver, and Tri-County Office on Aging pays for this. You don't have to pay for it at all.
Is that an income-based?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
What did you call that project?
Project Choices.
Choices.
Project Choices. And that's a Tri-County area, like, you could live, Ingham, Eaton, Clinton, I suppose you could live in Grand Ledge, and they'd come and pick you up and bring you to the center and take you home at the end of the day. I was kind of surprised by the clientele. There were probably an equal number of seniors to emotionally impaired adults. But it just is a dynamic program. And by the time we got there and did our visiting and came back, we had said that we would include this in a lunch bag for the to-goes, but I really didn't feel that the information that they gave us was appropriate. It was an activity calendar for the month of January, and we were done with the month of January, so it seemed a little outdated. So I have not gotten back with them, but if there's interest or think there would be interest, I can get back with them and ask them maybe for a March activity calendar so we could send it home at the end of February.
And something that would explain the cost.
Yeah.
So they're actually a daycare,
It's a daycare.
adult daycare.
Adult daycare,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And you know, if you were to hire someone from one of these agencies, it would cost you well over the $20 an hour.
That's for sure. You had skilled nursing or a CNA, and you don't get transportation, you don't get your meals, you don't get pretty much one-on-one attention.
And this program also will come to your home. It is another charge, what was it, $24 an hour or something like that?
Right, they do have an in-home program as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe a brochure and an activities calendar for March, so that people could read about the program and see what they offer. Might be a good idea. I asked you, James, to find out if we could put that in the lunch bags. Did you find out?
I did talk with Taylor a little bit, and she was working out logistics, so I'll follow up.
All right, thank you. All right, new business, electing leadership. So we do have to have a chair. Probably be good to have a vice chair and a secretary. So I would nominate Deb Johnson to be the chair.
And secretary. Sorry, Deb. You're just so good at that.
But you're currently the chair, are you not?
Yes, and I have been for probably 4 years. I really appreciate your style, and I
Decline.
Yeah, I know.
love your leadership abilities and
Maybe take your pick which job you want.
the way you're such a great writer. And I think that
And speaker.
it would be great for us to have a new voice at the podium when we're talking to the trustees, and I put that nomination out there. I just wonder if there's a second. And then we'll ask you how you feel about it.
Oh, thank you.
Is there a second?
That would have been,
Yep.
our audience, that second.
That's not possible. I need someone.
Oh, sure, I'll second it, yeah.
Second by you. All right, so Deb, would you accept the nomination?
I respectfully, I would have to decline, though I'm very flattered and appreciative of it. And I would be happy to assist in podium conversations if that will be of help, but it's, yeah, I'm trying to,
Yeah.
see what my life is gonna look like now
Yes,
that
yeah.
my dad passed away and everything has changed and
Yep.
I'm.
All right, appreciate it.
I
Then-
appreciate that, though,
So-
very much.
I nominate Judy to be our
I
chairperson.
Second,
To be what?
You're our chairperson.
Chair, is there a second?
second. Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Judy, would you accept this nomination?
I don't know, temporarily.
What does temporary mean?
Well, my family works for my kids work for the
Oh,
State
right.
Department. And they're both really under the gun right now. My daughter is the bureau chief for Immigration and Resettlement and Refugee Services. So I don't feel really positive that they will still be working, but if they are on March 1st and her husband has to go back to has to go to the office, then they will need childcare. So I might have to go to be with my family for a while. I don't know that right now. So I could temporarily take it, but I might not be able to complete the year. Just put that out there.
Well, we respect that.
I think we should accept her.
Her conditional
acceptance, yeah.
acceptance.
Yeah.
All in,
favor?
yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And then we should have a vice chair because I might have to be gone for a little while. So Dana or Nancy, would you like to be vice chair?
I childcare for 2 families, so
No.
no, thank you.
Nancy,
I don't think I could do your job, honey, sorry.
vice chair. How about you, Jean? Could you be vice chair?
I know I couldn't do it. No,
Well,
because
we're
I'm
stuck
still
with you.
working. So no.
Unless you wanted to do it.
Well, I need Deb to be the secretary,
Yeah.
if she will do it.
Yeah, I'll continue being secretary.
Okay, so we'll have a secretary and a secretary and a chair. So I would nominate Deb Johnson to be our secretary. Is there a second?
Second.
Yes.
Would you speak to that?
I accept that nomination.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. BOT report, that would be Board of Trustees report. That's you, Ray.
Well, what we talked about was the data sheet that the planning commission came up with, and came up with more questions. And so that goes back to the planning commission, and they're going to give us more data and collect more data, and hopefully give us a decision on what you people have asked for.
I am confused as why would it be the planning board to do that for the senior center?
Planning commission. and-
Planning commission, I
And
mean,
they
to
are
collect
supposed to
data?
plan everything. Even when, like, a property comes up for sale, a private property.
Yeah,
That ideally is supposed to go through the planning commission first
oh, yeah,
before
and
the board.
yeah.
And
it
things of that
does.
nature, things
Yeah.
that evolve around and happen in the township
But I,
should be planned.
my personal feeling is that if you want data out of the senior center, then someone from the senior center should provide the planning commission with that information.
That's, he may have very well gotten some
Okay,
from that,
all
I don't
right,
know.
okay.
It was, the planner.
All this data came from the senior center.
Yeah.
Okay,
All this data
think
came
that's
from
where
the
they got
senior
it.
center.
okay. Yeah, they got it from the senior center, but who's putting it together?
the planning commission, once they get the
Planning commission,
raw
yeah.
data.
Once they get, there's a PhD statistician, actually, that put it together.
Okay.
That's what he does, he does data, that's all he does.
I was kind of surprised that they didn't come to us and ask us for any background. I mean, we have statistics that go back as far as 2013 on our meals and our service. And, you know, if they want to compare the current to the past and see how much we've grown,
That's what I'm
we
saying.
have this kind of data. But no one has ever reached out to me and asked me for any data.
No.
It's possible that, you know, they don't know how that data was gleaned.
Which is from the front office.
Actually,
This was done
That was
with,
through
you
the
know,
cooks.
standard parameters
Yeah,
that
we
we
used to
used over
provide
and
it.
over and over.
Yeah.
Well, that was done from this.
Okay.
Anyways, so, anything else to add?
That's it.
James had to go to a 2:00 meeting, so he's left the building. Public comment.
So early.
There's no microphone up there either, Marie,
Oh, thank God.
so you might as well just
Come on,
stand
yeah,
there
come
and
on up
talk.
here, come on up.
Come closer,
Sit, look.
closer to
Right
us.
over here.
Used to be a table, well,
Yeah,
that's a long story.
yeah, it is.
here's a chair.
Long story.
I don't know why they seat people so far back.
Glad you're back. Seriously, that's, okay.
Okay,
Anyway, my public comments, I have a number of them.
Would you like to sit down?
Yeah, that's okay. No, if I get tired, I'll sit. You spoke to your number of people that you have. I have a question for our board member. Did the board elect to vote, and they did vote, did they vote on 9 members? 9, including, right now you have 6.
We have 7.
We are supposed to have 7.
Who's the
Oh, we
7th?
were minus 1.
I was under the
Who's
impression.
missing?
Guy, isn't it?
I don't know how to tell you that. Helen Murphy?
Helen Murphy
Helen.
retired or
There's
got off the
no-
board.
There's no one missing today. We
Oh.
have vacancies,
You
which I
have
spoke
3
to.
vacancies, as I understand it, and that's what I'd like to have you check. And see if the board voted for 9 members. The purpose of their vote initially had to do, I think, with the fact that you were earning money from the silent auction. I'm listening to what you're saying, and you really need 3 more people to be adding additional comments and additional ideas. So that reasoning of having to do with the purpose of money that you were earning allegedly for the silent auction took a lot of work to be done. You have a lot of work going right now. I'm not sure, not because you don't work hard, because you all do, but I'm thinking 3 more people would help. Well, I'll give you 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, if you've got
And
2.
we have 2 vacancies.
And you have 2 vacancies, so that'll make it 9.
That's right, that's what
Okay.
we're
And
allowed.
that's what I'm saying is that was already decided, that you
Well,
needed. So you already have people who were on it that you need to ask again if they would be willing to serve again, that were not reappointed. For example, yours coming up, what, 25th, 2025, this December?
I don't know.
Well, it does.
And my Nancy and I
I was
I
gonna
too.
think there's 4
Yep.
of
You'll
us.
come up,
Yeah,
so
mine comes
again, you're gonna have.
That's
yours
Christmas.
is later. I think Deb's is later than that.
No, mine's the end of
Ours
this
just
year.
was up,
And so you were reappointed.
right.
Okay, so you're reappointed for what, 4 more years?
I think it's 2 years.
I think.
Oh, I don't know.
I thought 3, but
Yeah,
Everybody
4.
knows, right?
yeah,
Okay, whatever it is, and however it is, the additional people to come in that absolutely is really crucial.
okay,
From
need people.
That's my public comment. That's number 1. Number 2 had to do with people from the outside. I had this discussion once before. To me, it's really, and that's coming from me, people from the outside are really important. And the reason they're important is because that tells you that the area, as Jean had mentioned, they're not being served. And Bath is doing a tremendous job. Now, I'm going to do that as a segue into the budget. You need to really look at the budget clearly and ask really, really hard questions with the budget. To me, it doesn't make a whole heck of a lot that there's dollars being spent from this township to support the senior services in addition to the money that you're making to support it. Okay? To me, that's not an important thing. This township does a lot of other budgeting to other things that it probably shouldn't do. When in fact, how do I put this? When in fact it's allowed to pay for things that the township really shouldn't be doing, but they're doing it. The Senior Services Board is really important that they do. So what I'm saying is the dollar amount that is in the budget doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot, frankly. The money that you earn and what you teach and what you learn, what you argue about, which I love it, is more important than what's always said. We support you. So therefore, you should be doing A, B, and C. I don't agree with that. The township should be supporting it anyway because they do support other items, other things that really, not that they're not important, but they're not as important as the senior center.
Can you
And,
make it,
an
give me
example?
an example, yeah.
okay, and I'm not.
Just so I have it in my brain.
No. Okay, just so you have it. What I'm trying to say is, for example, let me give you an example of this. Museum. I'm on the board. Okay, you're on the board with the museum.
No longer.
Love it. Well, really enjoy it. It's probably a good thing, not that location, but the idea of the museum is a good thing. This township has given them X amount of dollars.
I
to
believe
do it. They
15,000
support.
so far.
It's not in the budget, it's not there, but they have done it. That's an item that I'm not so sure you could equate to say that's the same as our seniors.
Agreed.
Agreed.
It's not, yeah.
It's not.
So, but we do it. So when it's brought up that you're spending $100,000, whatever it is, for the seniors, that's a really important project that needs to be done. The museum is an important project, there's no question. They're working really hard with it and trying really hard to do it. But it's not, it's on the township, only because we rent it.
It's not a township entity.
Well, it's not something the township really should be involved in.
Well,
They shouldn't. And that again is a question, I mean, that's a personal opinion. So what I'm trying to say to you,
Is there's money for other things
they
that
put
don't have
money-
the same weight and importance into the community.
It's not that important for the community as the seniors are. That's part of what it is. And the numbers for those coming in, to me, are important because it shows that we're doing a job for the remainder of the rest of this community, whether it's in Clinton County or not, isn't the point. The point is that seniors are being served, and they're being served at Bath Township. I've always been opposed, and I'll put this out there, I've always been opposed to the idea of a 3% raise. And the reason I do that, because over 5 years, that's 15% increase of one's budget. And that, we're supposed to say is important. When we went through, not we, when your supervisor went through the budget and said he had 1.6 million that he saved, not one salary was touched, to the best of my knowledge. So that could have been changed. So I'm just saying that there are more important things in this township. The budget's an excuse. That's an excuse. And it is. Drink the Kool-Aid or not, it's an excuse. And number two, when it deals with how many people you need to have, yeah, that's crucial. That's not your jobs to be hunting, although it would be a good thing to hunt. That's what your supervisor's supposed to be doing, is hunting, fill that, and to fill it as quickly as possible, because you need it. You're doing a lot of work, and you need to have those extra brains in there to be able to sit and discuss. And I know that makes it really hard for you. It does. It makes it hard for the discussion, but it's a good discussion to have. These are important discussions that you have. And it's important work that you do. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. I think that was 3. 1, 2, and 3. Yep, it was. So there you go. Gee, I'm surprised to see you back.
Thank you, Marie.
You guys got, I didn't realize that you got reappointed. That was easy to do, wasn't it?
I guess.
It was.
it's been off.
Okay, I just have some questions. I'm a public person now, but She
there's
brought up a
member
good, no,
comment
not for
too,
you,
next.
but just, oh, I'm sorry, another public. Go ahead.
Is it illegal for me to be on this board? As a member of this committee?
Oh, I'm sure it
Yeah,
is.
Because there can only be
I'm
one,
guessing.
there can only be one
There can
Board
only
of
be
Trustees
one.
member, yeah.
Right, that's a rule.
Well,
That's what they told
She
me.
wants to know, as an individual member of the community, can she be on the board? That's her question.
Not so long as you serve on the Board of Trustees is what I was understood.
Well, do we know
can't-
that for sure?
I don't know if it's written down anywhere or if it's just a policy.
I think
it's
that's a good
always
idea.
been done, right?
We've got.
Well,
we've got
that,
vacancies.
exactly, so, you know, if it's not a
It's
rule,
always been done. That
So, but that
it's a
doesn't mean it
policy.
has to
That's
be.
correct.
So, that's a good
Something worth
question.
looking into.
Yeah.
then it could be a statute by the virtue of the state,
You
you
have
know,
to
I
ask
don't
the
know.
legal person who we pay what, how much?
Yeah.
Many
I would like
dollars.
to ask that question because I would do that. I volunteer.
Yeah, would you have a public comment, Sherry?
Just that.
Just that. All right, so,
No, Dana had a question.
Oh, no, it's next.
Oh,
It's next, yeah.
board member
oh.
comments? Does anyone on the board have a comment?
I just wonder, has the Board of Trustees ever visited the idea of asking surrounding communities for money to support the senior center when we're servicing seniors in their area?
I don't believe so, but it's a good idea.
That was
No, but I
mentioned.
asked Ray.
That was mentioned.
On a county level,
Yeah.
but we talked about it earlier,
No,
so to
the
expand it for
township
everything.
board, has the Bath Township Board,
No.
Marie has some history.
I have to stick my nose in. That was exactly what I was told by the Michigan Township Association for our assessor,
What
what?
were you told?
that you need to go to them and look for a partial payment, because our assessor assesses for 3 other townships, and we pay her retirement and her benefits and et cetera. But having said that, Michigan Township Association said to me to go to these townships, whether it be Victor or Greenfield or whatever, or Essex or whatever it is that, is done, and ask them to pay us X amount of dollars in support of our assessor coming to them, because they don't pay, all they pay is.
Right, and I agree with that, but I think it should come from the township board.
But it's not, yeah. You're right.
But I think, Ray, I would like to know, have they visited that? Have they talked about going to surrounding areas and asking them for money, a certain amount of money?
I would
To
say no, I would say nobody's ever done that, no.
Maybe you could bring that up.
I wrote it down.
Good.
I'm trying to
Thank
do
you,
my
Jean.
job.
Ben, did you have any comments? No. Nancy, do you have any comments?
No, I think I'm out.
Dana?
Yes, I do. One of the things, how, we support the library, correct?
We have a
White.
millage.
Oh, we haven't, okay. Because back when and they still do this occasionally, I believe. Anyways, I went to the library one day and I got counted 3 times because I left and went out to my car to get something and went back in and said, oh, shoot, I need something else. So they counted me 3 times. So I don't believe that the numbers that they're providing people, I don't even know if they're still doing it, but I know they did it before, is accurate. And I've always said that. The numbers count is being counted incorrectly.
Are you speaking to our seniors at the senior center?
I am talking about the library and the
Right.
numbers and the money we spend on the library and how they determine if we needed a library. That was all, to me, fictitious numbers.
The voters determined whether we needed a library or not.
Okay, but I'm sure those voters were provided with information about how many people used it and didn't use it, no?
I'm sure they were. Yeah,
I'm
they had a
sh-
great campaign, I'm sure they were.
Yeah, so that's what I'm just saying. So when you say count, or they count people for the museum, how many people use the museum? Do they count it the same way they count the library?
That's the problem. My dad was served on that board, and he said he would volunteer to,
Be
be there, to facilitate it being open on Saturdays. And there were days no one came. There were days one person came. And he said, and they want to spend millions and millions when we had, he said, we have this beautiful area. He goes, I know that it's not, that it's basically being loaned to us, but there's, most everything is on display, and to spend millions and millions of dollars to
Put it across the
to put it
street.
across the street when people aren't coming. The idea, if you build it, they will come, I'm not so sure that that is worth the expenditure.
And that's what I'm saying, you know, basically, they're using, I don't, the
Well, I
numbers are
think
not
it
right.
follows Marie's comments that there's money being spent that is not in any way giving us the bang for our buck, that money that goes to our seniors gives us.
Correct.
I mean, our seniors
Yep.
not only appreciate it, but they use it and they need it and,
they depend
and it's
on
a, and it's, they depend on it and it's a growing part of our population and on and on and on.
Yeah, now 27% of the population in Bath Township is over the age of 55.
Thank you,
When I-
that was a
when I
much more
joined-
eloquent
When I
place.
joined the Senior Services Advisory Board, it was 17%.
Can I say one more?
Ray, yeah, you're up.
My own personal opinion, the senior center is a service that the township provides. It's not an obligation under any means. You know, like plowing the roads or making sure the sewer works, so.
You want to say
I think
it's not a legal
It's
obligation.
not a legal obligation, I don't believe, because if it was, then all the other townships would have one.
We consider it a moral one.
Well, that's right, and so what you're talking a really subjective area is what I'm trying to say, and I'm not trying to defend anybody, but I just, you know, take a look at that and look at it from the outside and say, you know, there's a lot of balls being juggled in the air at all times, and so every once in a while, you gotta look at one of those large expenditures and say, you know, is that really being spent the best way? So, and that's what I'm saying, and this is an advisory board, you know, you don't have any decision-making properties or anything.
We've been made aware
But,
many, many times.
Well, I mean, I've been on the
We are
project
aware.
advisory board, I've been on the
Yep.
Parks and Rec
Yep.
board, you know, I've been on all of those, and you don't have any decision, you sit on your hands, you know, pretty much. So,
Yeah.
well,
But, you know, you always want your boards, to be passionate about what they, you know, what they are addressing. And our seniors they're vulnerable, potentially vulnerable people.
much so,
They have done their bit for society. They're in need. I mean, we have projects and things for our kids. Our seniors vote, which is lovely. And, just
well,
they need us to have their backs.
Yeah.
And that's, you
This is
know,
something, you know, that you, like you said, it's a moral thing. And how many here are seniors? How many
All of
draw
us.
social security?
all of us.
Okay, there are entities within this, country, leaders, that wanna get rid of social security. They
Yeah,
want you
but
to
that's
be on
not the
your own.
topic. That's not the
But
topic.
anyway, what I'm trying to say is that, you know, there are obligations and then there are moral obligations, legal obligations and moral obligations, so, anyway.
The only comment, Ray, that I have to that is, we know, but it's difficult when the board says, well, you're servicing all these people not in the community.
In the community, yeah.
But the board isn't doing anything to pull money from those other
Well,
communities. And that would be the board's responsibility, and that's why you have it written down, is to, why aren't they? I mean, they're saying to us, well, that costs so much money, and we're servicing all these other people. But the board could be going to those communities and those townships and saying, we're servicing your people, we need this much money.
I think that's really the job of the administration
yeah,
for the township, and
It's
we
not
don't
the
have,
board?
no.
No,
And,
I don't think
well,
so.
they can direct her, you know, I mean, she works for them, but I think it's
But
her.
they kind of don't. Well, I'm sorry, I don't mean to, I'm seriously not trying to be facetious. But every time we have this conversation and express concerns about administration, the staff, it's kind of like, well, they get to make all the decisions. And then we're like, well, we don't understand that, because why are they making all the decisions when the elected officials are supposed to be overseeing that? And yet, it seems like there's this wiping of hands and saying, whoa, we're gonna let them do whatever their thing is. And, you know, I don't know, I'm not really comfortable with that. I mean, we're supposed to have, our staff is supposed to be public servants. They're supposed to, you know, have grace and courtesy for our citizens. And,
So then maybe,
you know,
maybe the
we haven't seen that in many situations.
maybe the board needs to direct the administration, look
More-
into this.
That's what they're supposed to be doing.
That's what I think we're doing, that's never been done. I, was on the planning commission as well, and that's when this came. And me personally, and as a planning commissioner, and now as a board of trustee member, I wanna know why we're spending money out of our tax dollars to get somebody a $5 meal. Tell me, in this town, in this community, in this state, where can you get a lunch for $5?
Well, and the administration is getting a $6 meal.
Yeah, but what I'm
And,
saying,
and so we're supplementing,
okay,
But
argumentatively.
we're supplementing their lunch.
let me
The
be-
food cost covers the cost of the food. It doesn't necessarily cover the dishwasher and the cook and the prep cook.
Or the plant equipment,
Right.
the heat, all
Okay.
of that kind of stuff. I guess what I'm saying
sorry,
is,
yeah, please go
they,
ahead.
the staff, when you had mentioned that they eat, they get their meals. That was on Meatloaf Day. But anyway, don't they have as much right as somebody from Langsberg, Shiawassee
Sure,
County? or-
absolutely,
I mean,
yes.
I mean, they shouldn't be detrimental.
We're not saying that they shouldn't eat, we're saying that they should eat last.
Oh, okay, why?
Because they run out of food.
Well, then
For
why
the
shouldn't the people
patrons.
from Langsberg or DeWitt eat last? That's what I'm trying to say.
Because they're seniors.
What if they're not seniors? Cause we even feed the ones that are under 55.
Well, most of the
Do you see
time.
what-
No,
I guess
I just
Do you see
think,
what I'm saying? I mean, it's a really
Yeah, okay.
subjective thing that you're looking at. And
I just
think it should
think
be looked
that
at,
the argument that they run out of food, I think we need to look at that, because I don't see that. I think you're taking one isolated incident where they ran out of food, but there are all these meals that they don't run out of food.
yeah.
So I think we need to not focus on one incident, but just realize that the majority, they don't run out of food.
No, not most
No.
of the time.
Well, that's why they're emphasizing data,
Right.
flat, hard facts.
Thank you very much for your time, your attention, and your willingness to serve. I greatly appreciate it.
Motion to adjourn.
Meeting adjourned.
All righty then.
Does that need a second?
And I just